In the quiet shallows of mist-covered wetlands, where reeds sway gently with the morning breeze, life begins with a soft, cautious movement. This is Froki, the earliest and most fragile stage of a lineage built for silence and precision. Its small, lightweight body allows it to hop effortlessly across floating leaves, leaving almost no trace on the water's surface. Deeper into the wetlands, as the canopy thickens and the air grows colder, Froki evolves. This is Frogadier. With newfound strength, it can leap several meters in complete silence, landing softly on branches too fragile to hold other creatures. The foam it once used for protection now becomes a weapon, shaped into dense, hardened spheres capable of stunning prey in a heartbeat. Suddenly, the swamp goes silent. No warning, no movement, no sound. This is Greninja. Greninja moves with surgical precision. Its body cuts through the mist like a blade, every jump controlled, every landing perfectly balanced. Slowly, quietly, it leans forward and enters the water. There is no splash, only ripples widening across the surface as its form disappears beneath. For a while, we see nothing but the shifting reflections of reeds and moonlight. A soft rise, a subtle turn, and it emerges again, droplets rolling down its dark skin. Hand over foot, it scales the side of a leaning tree, gripping bark slick with moisture. Once perched high above, Greninja begins to move again, weaving between branches, leaping across gaps, its body barely more than a blur between the leaves. For a brief moment, the wild allows us to witness him. Not a creature of power, not a legend, but a solitary shadow moving with the rhythm of the marsh. In the storm-scarred peaks, where thunder is born and the air itself trembles, a silhouette cuts through the clouds. This is Zapdos, the elusive thunderbird of legend. High on a narrow cliff ledge, hidden from nearly all living eyes, lies something even rarer, the nest of Zapdos. When the eggs finally hatch, the young Zapdos appear fragile and unsteady. Without the dramatic electricity of their adult form, they resemble down-feathered mountain chicks, soft, quiet, and cautious. When hunting, Zapdos relies on stealth and altitude, gliding silently above the ridgelines like a great eagle watching the terrain below. With a sudden controlled drop, it dives toward its prey in a precise, energy-efficient strike. After a successful hunt, Zapdos returns to its cliffside nest with captured prey, tearing it into smaller pieces so the young can feed, their rapid chirping echoing across the rocky slope. Despite its raw, destructive power, Zapdos lives a remarkably solitary life. It drifts along storm fronts, following shifting weather patterns, avoiding unnecessary conflict, and observing the world from unreachable heights. Researchers note that Zapdos becomes most active during approaching storms, using shifts in air pressure to navigate more efficiently. Its feathers crackle softly before rainfall, a reaction believed to help it sense atmospheric changes. Zapdos is more than a Pokémon. It is the voice of the mountains, the echo of storms, and a reminder of how much of the natural world remains hidden from us. Before the wetlands awaken, before the mist begins to lift from the water, something stirs beneath the reeds. Hidden among damp leaves and soft river mud lies a single egg. This is Psyduck, a Pokémon often overlooked yet deeply misunderstood. With its vacant gaze and awkward posture, Psyduck appears lost in thought, as if the world around it moves too fast to follow. It pauses often, listening, watching, reacting with hesitation rather than confidence. But this apparent confusion hides a far more complex inner struggle. Psyduck spends much of its time alone, wandering along riverbanks and shallow pools. It floats quietly across the water, letting gentle currents guide its movement, conserving energy and avoiding disturbance. For brief moments, it seems calm, almost peaceful. But danger is never far in the wetlands. From beneath the reeds, a silent predator emerges, a snake drawn by movement in the water. Psyduck stands motionless at the water's edge, unaware of the danger behind it, yet sensing something is wrong as a snake silently stalks through the reeds, closing the distance with each careful movement. Psyduck suddenly bolts across the muddy shore, panic driving its unsteady steps as the snake strikes, jaws snapping just inches away. As Psyduck breaks free once more, stumbling across the wet ground and forcing distance between itself and the predator. Its escape driven by instinct rather than control, while the predator, shaken and defeated, slips back into the reeds. Alone once more, Psyduck clutches its head. The pain builds, sharp, overwhelming, and with it, uncontrolled psychic energy radiates outward in brief, invisible waves before fading just as quickly. In the shallow water, a small group of Psyduck gather, splashing, bumping into one another, playing without fear. Among them, Psyduck relaxes. The tension eases. The pain subsides. For now, it is safe. Psyduck spends time among others like itself, drifting together across calm water, moving without urgency. Psyduck is not just a Pokémon. It is a reminder that even the most unassuming creatures can carry immense power hidden beneath confusion, waiting for moments of calm to emerge. In the mist-covered mountain slopes, where almost no living eye has wandered, a shape emerges. This is Mewtwo, one of the most mysterious Pokémon on the planet. Its presence is striking not only in form. With a single motion, Mewtwo lifts stones and shapes its surroundings with precision science cannot yet explain. At night, it becomes nearly invisible. Trail cameras capture only rare controlled movements, drifting through complete darkness. Despite its immense power, Mewtwo leads a cautious, solitary life, moving silently, studying the terrain, avoiding conflict, and watching other Pokémon from afar. But deep inside a hidden cave, something far rarer unfolds. 4 young Mewtwo, alone, play, explore, and awaken early psychic abilities that will one day define their kind. At dawn, the family gathers around dew-covered leaves. The adult demonstrates how to tilt the leaf. The young eagerly follow, one of the few tender behaviors ever recorded. For a brief moment, nature has allowed us to witness this elusive species, powerful, intelligent, and deeply mysterious. As clouds drift across the mountains, the Mewtwo family fades back into the wilderness. Their presence is fleeting, their trail nearly invisible. Deep within untouched forests, where time seems to stand still, a story begins. A story of those who live by their own ancient laws. When fog drapes the forest and silence settles between the trees, the wild reveals its most vulnerable moments. A powerful apex predator steps from the shadows with remarkable caution and grace. Far from the human world, we witness rare moments that reveal both the strength and fragility of nature. For the pups, every second is a lesson. How to keep balance on wet stone, how to move against the wind without being noticed, how to read the scents drifting between the trees. The mother Arcanine teaches them patiently the ancient craft of survival passed down through generations. These rare moments remind us that every giant of the wilderness was once a child. And every story of survival begins with tiny steps taken beside a mother's protective presence. And one day, these small striped pups will become the mighty predators that carry their lineage into the future. For from these tiny steps rise the giants who will one day rule the mist-covered mountains.